The Spartan society, a unique structure of power and purpose. Sparta's governance was a fascinating blend of monarchy, aristocracy, and oligarchy. The city-state was ruled by two kings, but their powers were curtailed by a council of elders comprised of 28 respected members of the aristocratic Spartiates. These elite Spartans, akin to medieval knights, were professional soldiers who spent their lives in communal barracks, rarely seeing their families. Their lands were worked by slaves, allowing them to dedicate themselves entirely to the art of war. Below the Spartiates were the Perioeci, a middle class of farmers and artisans who lacked political rights but could serve in the army and paid taxes. Descendants of Sparta's conquered peoples, the Perioeci played an essential role in the Spartan economy and military. At the bottom of Spartan society were the Helots, a slave class descended from those who had resisted Spartan rule. The Helots were a constant source of concern for the Spartans, who feared uprisings. To control them, the Spartans formed a secret society that annually killed Helots suspected of inciting rebellion. Despite their austere lifestyle, the Spartans were revered throughout Greece for their military prowess. They were known for their strict discipline, rigorous training, and the famous Spartan phalanx, which made them the most feared infantry in Greece. The Spartans lived without walls or grand buildings, focusing solely on their military and the betterment of the state. Legends of Spartan valor. The Spartans were not just renowned for their military might, but also for their wit and wisdom. Herodotus recounts a story of a Spartan warrior named Dinakes, who, when told that the Persian archers could block out the sun with their arrows, replied, "Good, then we shall have our battle in the shade." This tale exemplifies the Spartan spirit of fearlessness and resolve in the face of overwhelming odds. A Sybarite once remarked that he now understood why the Spartans did not fear death, highlighting the Spartan disdain for luxury and their focus on discipline and duty. King Agesilaus, when asked about the greatest benefit bestowed by the Spartan lawgiver Lycurgus, replied, "Contempt of pleasure," emphasizing the Spartan ideal of self-control and sacrifice for the common good. Perhaps the most famous Spartan saying is, "Come back with your shield," or on it, attributed to mothers sending their sons off to war. This epitomizes the Spartans' belief that returning without a shield, which was used for the common good, was dishonorable, whereas returning without a helmet, used for personal protection, was acceptable. Training the Spartan way, the Agoge. Spartan boys began their training at the age of 7, undergoing the Agoge, a rigorous state-sponsored education and training program. They were removed from their families and placed in communal barracks, where they learned combat skills, endurance, and discipline. The Agoge instilled in Spartans a sense of duty, sacrifice, and resilience. Boys were taught to endure pain, hunger, and hardship without complaint. They were encouraged to steal food as a test of their cunning and ability to survive in harsh conditions. The final test of the Agoge was the Crypteia, a secretive rite of passage where young men were sent into the wilderness to survive alone, using their wits and skills to evade capture and eliminate rebellious Helots. This training regimen produced soldiers of unmatched skill, discipline, and determination. Leonidas, the Spartan king and military leader. King Leonidas, a member of the Aegean dynasty, exemplified the ideals of Spartan leadership. A seasoned warrior and master tactician, Leonidas embodied courage, duty, and sacrifice. His leadership at Thermopylae, where he and his 300 Spartans made their legendary stand against the Persians, solidified his place in history as one of the greatest military leaders of all time. In 480 BC, Xerxes I of Persia launched a massive invasion of Greece, seeking revenge for his father's defeat at Marathon.
This is where we hold them! This is where we fight! This is where they die! And these shields, boys!
The Greek city-states, usually divided, united against this common threat. Thermopylae, a narrow coastal pass, was chosen as the battlefield, where Leonidas and his 300 Spartans, along with a few thousand allies, would make their stand. The geographical advantage of Thermopylae, with its narrow pass and coastal terrain, favored the Greeks, negating the Persians' numerical superiority. The Greek unity, despite their usual rivalries, was key to their defense against the Persians. On the first day of battle, the Greeks, under Leonidas' command, repelled wave after wave of Persian attacks. The narrow pass prevented the Persians from using their superior numbers effectively. The second day saw more of the same, with the Greeks holding their ground and inflicting heavy casualties on the Persians. However, on the third day, a Greek traitor revealed a secret mountain path to the Persians, allowing them to outflank the Greeks. Realizing their position was hopeless, Leonidas dismissed most of the Greek forces, remaining with his 300 Spartans, 700 Thespians, and 400 Thebans to make a last stand. Despite being vastly outnumbered, Leonidas and his men fought bravely to the end.
His target is far away.
Their sacrifice bought crucial time for the Greek city-states to prepare for the Persian advance. Though Thermopylae fell, it inspired the Greeks to continue the fight, ultimately leading to their victory over the Persians. The legacy of Thermopylae, a symbol of courage and sacrifice. The stand at Thermopylae became a symbol of Greek resistance and inspired future generations to uphold the values of honor, duty, and resilience. Though the Spartans and their allies were defeated, their sacrifice bought time for Greece to unite against the Persian threat. Thermopylae's strategic importance continued to resonate throughout history. In 279 BC, Gallic forces used the same alternate route as the Persians to defeat Greek defenses, showing the enduring lessons of the past. In 191 BC, the Romans faced off against the Syrian king Antiochus III at Thermopylae, securing Greece's sovereignty. The legend of Thermopylae and the 300 Spartans underscored the values of courage and sacrifice, reminding us that even in the face of overwhelming odds, the human spirit can persevere. Nearly 40 years after his death, Sparta honored Leonidas by retrieving his remains and erecting a shrine in his memory. His legacy lived on as a beacon of hope and valor for generations to come. Though Leonidas fell at Thermopylae, his spirit endured, a reminder that the bravest of hearts can change the course of history. In 378 BC, Sparta tightened its grip on Thebes, yet the Thebans, aware of their superior numbers, began to stir with rebellion. Across Greece, other city-states chafed under Spartan rule. Sphodrias, a renowned Spartan general, seized the opportunity and launched a daring assault on Piraeus. Although the gates of Piraeus were not fortified, they proved formidable enough to repel Sphodrias' forces. Sparta, renowned for its military discipline, did not take this failure lightly. Sphodrias faced trial for his botched attack, showcasing the seriousness with which Sparta regarded its military reputation. This event marked a turning point, spurring an alliance between Athens and Thebes. Though individually weaker than Sparta, together they presented a formidable challenge. Encouraged by this newfound alliance, Athens and Thebes began to rebuild their strength, recognizing that united, they could confront Sparta. Athens, still recovering from its defeat in the Peloponnesian War, embarked on a process of rejuvenation. Simultaneously, Thebes, under the leadership of figures like Pelopidas and Epaminondas, worked to reassemble the Boeotian Confederacy. The turning point came with the Battle of Tegea in 375 BC, where Theban forces, led by Pelopidas, achieved a remarkable victory against a larger Spartan army. This triumph not only liberated towns in Boeotia, but also served as a beacon of hope, demonstrating that Spartan dominance was not insurmountable. As Thebes grew in power, Athens, fearing their might, sought an alliance with Sparta. However, it was too late. The Thebans had become a force to be reckoned with, culminating in their decisive victory over Sparta at the Battle of Leuctra. This battle signaled the end of Sparta's military supremacy in Greece. The Spartans, renowned for their military prowess and rigorous training, had become victims of their own success. Their domination had spurred others to unite against them, ultimately leading to their downfall at the hands of Thebes. The rise and fall of these ancient powers serve as a reminder that even the mightiest empires are not invincible.